Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about what is the 80-20 rule for decluttering. First, I'm going to tell a story about decluttering my own closet, and then I'm going to explain the 80-20 rule. And lastly, I'm just going to give some tips about how to apply it and how it should work. So one of the first things that I started decluttering on my own, and that's how I got started in this journey, is I fell in love with minimalism, Marie Kondo, and I started decluttering my closet. I love starting in the closet because it's not as sentimental as some of the other areas of your home. A lot of the items are replaceable, right? So if you get rid of a black sweater and then later you need a new black sweater, you can usually find one. When we talk about the 80-20 rule, what it is that we're wearing 20% of our wardrobe 80% of the time, right? So most of it we're not even wearing. It's just taking up a lot of space. So when you start decluttering your closet, if you're brave, which I'm not sure I recommend this because it's very overwhelming, I took everything out of the closet and laid it on my bed. However, you're like, oh my gosh, as it piles up and piles up and piles up, it's shocking how much stuff you have in your closet. It is shocking how big wardrobes. And I have an average wardrobe. Like my friends would say, Devon is not that into clothing. So compared to some other people. So like this is just sort of standard in our US American culture. And so I cleared a lot. And then even later, I heard about Project 333, which is very interesting if you're interested in minimalism. I got down to about 50 pieces. And that Project 333, I'll have to make another video. It's so interesting and fun. But the idea is you wear 33 pieces and it's like your going out wardrobe. So it doesn't count loungewear, like stuff you only wear around the house, and it doesn't include workout wear. As long as you just use that for workout. So it's like these are the clothes you wear when you're going to the grocery store, when you're going to the office, when you're going to a function at your child's school, when you're going on a date, when you're going, meeting your mom for brunch, all that stuff. It's like these 33 pieces and it's for 3 months. So it's a season. If you have seasons like I do, you're going to need to change it with the season. So anyway, this 80-20 rule for decluttering is great. It's great in the closet, in the wardrobe area. So I want to mention exactly what it is. It's called the Pareto Principle. It's used a lot in various places. So like in business, they'll say, 80% of your revenue comes from your top 20% of clients, or, 20% of, like I've heard it used in every format. 20% of your clients take up 80% of your time, the 20 worst percent, or like there's so much of this. So Pareto Principle, tons out there on it. But the idea is when you look around your home, you're probably only using 20%. And so if you think about 80% is just sort of maybe you bought it with good intention, maybe you used to use it, but 80% is just kind of hanging out, taking up space. And so then potentially 80% could be decluttered, right? That's sort of the thinking. So this is a little bit more of a minimalist view or mindset, I think. You don't have to get rid of everything. Maybe your goal is like 30 or 40%, not just keeping 20% of your stuff. But it's the idea that a lot of the things you own, you're not using most of the time. And so then do you really need them? Right? So so that's the principle. That seems straightforward. You probably understand it. But it's like, how do we apply this? So one thing is that can be helpful is kind of pulling out a category, right? We like the category. Like, hey, I'm going to work on my books today. I'm going to work on my books. So what you could do is pull out the books, and then what you want to do is start pulling your favorites. So that's really what the 20% is. It's those favorites and or what do I use every day? So books you're probably not using every day, but but the favorites idea, right? Like let me put my 20% of the favorites back. I do not suggest if you're like, I'm a book person Every book I read, I buy and I keep, and I have a giant bookshelf with all my books, and I love them all, and I can't imagine getting rid of any of them. Do not start there. You're supposed to start with something that is easy, something you don't care as much about. If you're a book girl, you're a book lady, which I love books, I just am a library person, but then you should be starting in the linen closet, right? Like, do you have 20 sets of sheets? Okay, are you actually using all those sets of sheets? Like, how many beds are in your house? Unless you live in a mansion or you run an Airbnb, you probably don't need 20 sets of sheets, right? How many sets of sheets per person or per bed, right? I mean, I try to keep two to three sets of sheets per bed. We have a winter, a flannel, a cool set of sheets like regular, and then sometimes a third and extra for when I'm washing. But a lot of times, I just washed my sheets yesterday. I got them off in the morning, washed them, and got them back on at night because it was a quick day, right? So how many sheets do you actually need, right? So you're start with an easy area, pick your favorites, right? Like, I'm only going to pick the really soft sheets that I love. I'm going to get rid of this other set that maybe I had to buy extra because my kid was wetting the bed. And so for that time period, we needed 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of sheets because I was doing laundry every day, right? And that's fine. That was a moment. But now today, what percentage of the sheets am I actually using? So pull your favorites, or what do you use every day? A place where the what do you use every day question can help a lot is in the bathroom, because I think that there is so much, good marketing where people are like, buy this product, especially with the little girls these days, right, on YouTube. But like, what are you actually using every day? Like, my moisturizer, my set makeup. Like, I only use a couple things every day. And then, what's that 80%? Can you, get it out of that space? So I wear light makeup. So I have some additional makeup in my closet where I can access it if I need it. And I have room in my closet because I've decluttered it. So when I go on a date or I'm going to something fancy and I want to put on a little more makeup, I have it. But it's not cluttering up my day-to-day basket where I get ready every morning, right? You're how can you reduce the friction in your day-to-day life? That's really what this rule is asking you. So favorites and what do I use every day? That's how you're going to decide. When you think about this, I found this, I was researching for this video, replaceability mindset. You have to, and that's why you want to start with easy things, not sentimental items, not irreplaceable items. You want to think about what things can I get rid of that I could replace if I needed to, right? And those are going to be those just in case items, $20 or less within 20 minutes of your home, easy to replace. But also, here's the other thing. I like the idea that using this more minimalist mindset leads to a more creative and interesting life. So it's sort of like, if I didn't have this thing, what could I use instead? What could I make? How often do we do that anymore? What could I make? What could I borrow? What could I use instead? Because many of the little bric-a-brac items that we are purchasing because it's so easy to purchase, you could probably make or borrow or use something you already have. So it's actually kind of fun to do that, right? It's going back to when we were kids. When I was a kid, I remember calling a store on the phone to be like, do you have this item? And then I'd have to get a parent to drive me there, right? And so it's like, as kids, you wait. So we would make stuff all the time, instead of buying that phone stand, can you make it? Or what else do you have that could be sufficient? And then a few weeks from now, if you're using it every day, maybe you want to upgrade, but it shouldn't, I'm jumping a little bit into prevention, right? We're impulse buying and quick buying all the time. So that's what's happening. How did I get this 80%? Good intention. Maybe you needed it. Maybe you used to use it. But you want to start to think about, like, do I actually need this item? Or like an upgrade makes sense, but then make sure you clear out the old one. if you're using something every day, it makes sense to purchase it. But, we're purchasing way too many of these like very small, not important items, and then they become the 80%. So, there's, maybe one last question is sort of like, why do I only use 20% of the stuff in my home? I think the reason is because there's so much. Like, there's only so many hours of the day, right? Crafting is a great example. If you have a craft room, you start collecting supplies. And again, good intention. I love crafting. I love a good collage. But what happens is you begin to collect more than you're doing. And so there's just not hours to use. It's so available. It's so available. And then we collect it. And then you don't have enough time to actually do the thing that you like to do. And then all of a sudden you're spending your Saturday organizing the craft room instead of doing the fun activity. And that kind of sucks. So that's why I love decluttering. If it was just as simple as organizing your things, you'd be done. You probably have too much. If you're here, if you're searching for help, you have too much. I have too much. I've decluttered and things build back up again. We're ready for a big overhaul at my house. It's coming. But we can help. Declutter with Devon would love to come to your house and help you declutter. All right. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next time.